So we're going to go ahead and check out today a video called How Streamers Ruin Gaming. Now, I don't necessarily agree with this topic, but there are varying factors to it. So we're going to go ahead and check out this video by the creator Cameron. I believe that's how you say it. Hopefully I'm correct on that. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive in and see what he has to say.
Did streamers really ruin gaming, or are you just trash? In this video, I'm going to talk about gaming before streaming was popular, and gaming after streaming became popular, and by the end of this video, you'll have an answer on if streaming really ruined gaming or not. Now, a few months ago, I was actually scrolling through Twitter, and I saw this tweet right here that says, "Dominating blue-collar workers in BattleBit." If you don't know what BattleBit is, well, it's basically like Battlefield in Roblox, and this is pretty much the whole clip.
They have this in
Yeah,
Roblox?
pretty much. That guy is just straight up dominating people. Like that's pretty much it. And I saw a
That's kind of crazy. Actually, like, looked pretty decent. I didn't know they had like that sort of thing in Roblox. My daughter plays it all the time though.
quote tweet that said, "Esports ruined casual gaming." Now, I know the whole title of this video is like something along the lines of how streamers ruined gaming, but I'm gonna
Esports ruin casual gaming. Yes and no. I did make a video a while ago sort of touching on this topic, but it had more so to do with toxic players in terms of competitive gaming. And I like it's really hard to say because esports brings out the competitive nature of competitive multiplayer games as a whole, right? That's like peak competition. But at the same time, it doesn't really cater to casual players, when in most cases casual players are what keeps a game around pretty much, and it basically creates these types of players that sort of like gatekeep in a way and are just like insanely toxic. So like they want people to play their game, but at the same time they gatekeep them from playing the game. It like their toxicity deters them from playing. And so it's a yes and no kind of answer. But yeah, let's see what he has to say about it.
I'm gonna put streamers and esports kind of in the same category. I say that because with streaming, you kind of got to either be good at a game or funny, and with esports, you got to be good at a game. So I'm gonna put them both together because they're pretty similar, if I do say so myself. But to really understand this, we got to go.
Even when you're like really good at one of these competitive games like League of Legends or Valorant or Dota or, you know, whatever it may be, sometimes it's still really hard to pop off. Like, there are insanely good players that grind for years and people don't know who they are. Like, I don't know. It's really unfortunate.
All the way back to 2018, the Fortnite boom. Before, Fortnite was this cringe cash grab that pretty much just preyed on little kids for money. It was a game that nobody truly knew how to play and everyone had fun with it. I mean, back in 2018,
I was the biggest Fortnite hater for a very long time until my daughter actually got me to play Fortnite. And after playing it with her and she taught me a little bit of the game, it's really fun. So no longer a hater, but yeah, just
2018, every single human being was talking about Fortnite. I mean, back then you had Fortnite meme pages. Every single human being
it was
posting
pretty
their
crazy,
wins.
yeah.
People were doing emotes IRL.
Fortnite move! Do it again. Fortnite move, bitch!
How is he doing that so clean?
I mean, that's how we got the infamous ninja clip.
Everyone wants to get it. Come on, baby. Show me.
Ah,
Show me. Just move. If you guys know it, just move. It's all I want to see some movement. I'm not seeing.
man, that would suck so bad.
Oh my god.
And since Fortnite was so popular, one thing that also became popular because of Fortnite was streaming. Back then, Twitch was like pretty niche, but I'd say that Fortnite made Twitch more mainstream. And you may be asking, why did people go to Twitch and not YouTube? Well, the thing about YouTube is that a lot of YouTube videos are edited, and some people, they may be good on YouTube, but it's like on Twitch. Twitch is live, Twitch is raw. So if you lose, like, people are gonna see you lose, and if you win, people are gonna see you win. And that's why Twitch was so popular, because you could see high-level gameplay in real time. To determine if somebody was truly good, all you had to do was just watch them on Twitch. And with Twitch becoming so popular, some streamers that a bunch of people were watching back then was people like Myth, Ninja, Dr. Lupo, Nick Mercs. The whole Ninja versus Myth argument was like the biggest topic in school. I remember I was back in like freaking 10th grade and we were arguing at lunch tables talking about if Myth or Ninja was better. I'm not gonna lie, back then I was team Myth. But with all those popular streamers and pro players being in the limelight,
Myth
that made
took
more
off,
people
man.
want to be a pro player
He
/
blew up.
streamer. I mean, did y'all see how some of these Fortnite teams were getting down? Bro, I'm telling you, if I had to crank a few 90s to be a freaking Fortnite pro back then, I probably would. And that's exactly where the downfall of gaming happened. Everyone started focusing on the money you could make from gaming rather than the fun from gaming. Fortnite used to be this game where you try to win by doing these creative strats like building a sky base, building a huge metal base, or maybe even camping in a bush. But then it turned into this huge sweat fest when people saw that you could make abnormal amounts of money from this game. Back then, if you shot at a dude, they would probably start shooting at you back like they wouldn't even build. But now, if you shoot at somebody in Fortnite, they're building a whole freaking skyscraper hotel with Wi-Fi. It's actually wild. Now let me say,
So maybe he's about to mention it, but he is correct on, like, money drove a lot of people to want to play harder and like try hard and, you know, be sweaty. But I think that also in our current age of technology, everyone just has access to gaming now. Everyone has built a PC because of COVID, and it's just more accessible than it ever was before. So you have just a ton of players trying to be the best, but like there's so many players trying to sweat and try hard that it's hard to stand out, because like someone will do something insanely cool, but then the next person has to top that, and it just keeps going up, and it's like, where does it stop? Like, you know, what is enough? And yeah, it's kind of like that with content creation in a sense as well. I don't think that Jacksepticeye meant it in a rude way, but he is kind of right in the sense of like, and no shade at Mr. Beast, but he did sort of like ruin YouTube in a way, but like it's kind of like the same concept, because now everyone wants to make these videos like Mr. Beast, but eventually that type of content like plateaus off, because once you like spend a large amount of money on a video, like I spent $1 million on this yacht, like eventually the amount of money that you spend no longer matters, because like people just see, oh, large sum of money, that's what this video is about, or like you know what I mean? It just, yeah. And retention editing in the long run I don't think is very good, but that's a whole other thing. Let's continue here.
Say this right now, I do also say that that's kind of just time. Like with time people get better, but my point is that everyone's playing games to be the best rather than to just have fun with their boys. Everyone is playing to be watched on Twitch or watched on YouTube. I mean, you ever play a game and you get killed by somebody with a TTV gamer tag and you go to their Twitch and they're not streaming at all?
It's kind of cringe, honestly.
Like everyone is just playing for that top spot, because in that top spot you can make content out of it, and with that content comes a whole lot of money, unless you're playing playing like Farming Simulator and you're a pro, I don't really think you make a lot of money from like pro Farming Simulator, but I don't know. I might become a Farming Simulator pro. You never know. Bars. But yeah, everyone's pretty much playing to be watched. I remember back then, games wouldn't really get sweaty until like 2 or 3 weeks after release. But now, games are sweaty off the rip. It can be 5 days away from Call of Duty coming out, and you already got a dude making a video saying, best class setup 2023, MW3. And
right.
like, bro,
there's also that content too. For like a bunch of new games that are coming out, like it's a big problem with today's games, because back in the day, like when I would play Final Fantasy VII, like the OG 7 or Metal Gear, like it was solely about the experience of playing those games. Like no one back then was like tryharding and sweating like it's a like goddamn rat race, like who can finish the game fastest, or what's the most optimal way and efficient way to go about every single like part of the game. It makes it like not enjoyable almost. And due to the rise of content creation and like tons of more rising creators, all of this being just more accessible to people nowadays, it gives rise to this type of content where it's like these videos come out that are like, this is the optimal way to build so and so, or you want to build this stat or this weapon, this gear, and it just kind of like takes the fun out of things. Like, when was the last time you actually played a game where you just discovered things on your own and enjoyed the experience of the game as a whole? And that kind of goes into like game development a little bit as well, because there hasn't really been many feature complete games like at all lately. I think the most recent was probably from Larian Studios. I could be wrong about the name on that, but Baldur's Gate 3, a feature complete game, and people loved it. Like, DLC and all these microtransactions is getting insanely out of hand. But yeah, I'm ranting at this point, but you get my point.
Hasn't even released. It can be 2 weeks before 2K comes out and a dude already has the best build. It makes no sense. And when the game comes out, people are only going to play the meta, because when you only play the meta, you can win more. And when you win more, you can get up to that top rank. And when you get up to that top rank, you can stream, create content from it. More people are going to watch you because you're up high on the leaderboards. And then,
but that in itself also creates a problem, because if everyone's doing meta, then everyone knows how to deal with it in a sense, or they know what not to do, or vice versa, you know. And so eventually the meta just sort of plateaus as well. And so it's just kind of, it's like a very stale way of things. I don't know, it's odd.
then the cycle just continues and continues and continues. And now everyone's just playing the same because everyone's just trying to be the best to be able to stream it / be watched. Back then you would play games for the fun because there was really no money involved. But now it's like every single human being is trying to become the top streamer, and it's like, bro, like, where's the fun in that? Back then, gaming tournaments were giving out speckles. I'm telling you, if you won a gaming tournament for like freaking Mortal Kombat or Halo or something like that, you were probably going to get 50 cents in a Big Mac. But now if you win a freaking Fortnite tournament or you just win a freaking Call of Duty tournament, dog, you're honestly set. You can buy your mom a freaking mansion. People are getting millions from tournaments. I mean, look at Booga, bro. Didn't he won like 3 million, I'm pretty sure, off of Fortnite? That is wild. That is insane money. Another thing about gaming after streaming is that games that aren't even sweaty are becoming sweaty. For example, Fall Guys. I remember back in 2020,
oh my God,
every single human being was playing Fall Guys during quarantine. And with everybody playing Fall Guys, TikTok got a hold of that. And I remember scrolling through TikTok one day and I saw this one dude making videos of the best strats on certain maps on Fall Guys. And I just thought to myself, what do you gain from being a sweat in Fall Guys? What do you gain? Like, I understand you're trying to show people how to win and stuff, but I feel like the reason why Fall Guys was so fun was because nobody was making strats or anything. People were just hopping in, having fun, just playing like headless chickens, you know? I feel like games die out quicker when you're making all these strats and stuff on how to win, when it's not even like, obviously, yes, the goal in Fall Guys is to win, but I feel like the whole point of that game is to enjoy the journey, like the fun with friends, the freaking hurdles you're going over, that one dude griefing you on the map. Like, when you're only focused on trying to get crowns in that game, the game becomes less fun because you're just focused on the destination rather than the journey. Imagine coming home from a long day of school or work and you're getting sweated on in Fall Guys. Imagine you're over there just trying to chill, you know, you're on this little cutesy game that's like Wipeout, and out of nowhere, TTV Try Hard for Life literally just claps you every single map, and it's like, dude, you can't.
Bro, there have been like so many times where like I have been playing Fortnite and I'm just like playing for fun, right? In like a non-ranked game, by the way, and people are just like just try harding, and it's just so funny because like I'm here in a non-ranked game just trying to have fun or playing with my friends, just trying to have a good time, and like these new kids and just people trying to get content out of it or whatever are just going insanely like sweat mode, and it's just funny. Like, you don't hear people talk about like the fun of a game. It's all about like exactly what he's saying. Do this and you'll win. And I don't know, man. It sucks.
Can't even have fun anymore. And since everyone's tryharding, games are now catering to the bad players. One thing that games have been implementing is this thing called skill-based matchmaking. If you don't know what it is, well, I'll basically explain. Think of a lobby where all the top players from a bunch of different games all get into a lobby with each other and go head to head. Basically ranked play, but with no bonus rewards or anything. You just kind of get into a lobby with the best players without getting any specific reward in casual play. And the thing about skill-based matchmaking is that it's unfair because the good players are being punished for being good at the game. And it gets to this point where it's like winning feels like a chore rather than...
It's like that with a lot of ranks in games, because what it does is if you play well, then you eventually get beyond a 50% win rate. So once the system detects that you're going beyond that, it's going to do whatever it can to bring you back down to that. And only like topless 1% of players like get past this, or they either lose a game and then go on another huge win streak, and that's how they'll continue to climb. But there are players who will essentially just be able to beat pretty much everyone. Like, take Faker, for example. Guy can climb like crazy. He could take on anyone. He's an insanely good player. But yeah, it's a hard thing to tackle.
Actual fun, because back then if you truly wanted to sweat, you would go into like a ranked game mode or something. But now if you're a tryhard, you're gonna play every single other tryhard 24/7 just because you're good at the game. Back then, games like Call of Duty, what they would do, you would join a lobby, and if you wanted to leave that lobby, you would just leave it, and if you wanted to stay after the game, you would stay. But now after a game is finished, they just transport you to a whole different lobby with everyone else who also did good. And it's like, now you got to go head to head with all the big dogs just because you won one game. I remember Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, that had some of the worst skill-based matchmaking ever. That game was...
Maybe it's like that in some games, but with League of Legends specifically, the MMR and such in terms of ranking works like how I was discussing earlier, where you win, it wants to keep you around a 50% win rate, because in the programming, that's what has been dictated as fair. And so, but it's actually not, because it'll pair you with bad players, and yeah, it's a whole thing.
borderline unplayable, because if you won one game, you would be playing the freaking Optic roster from freaking 2014 just from winning one game. And another way of games catering to bad players, Fortnite adding bots into their games just so you can feel better about yourself. Let's be real, it is 2023. Nobody is a default anymore in Fortnite. I mean, back then, yes, there were people who were bad at the game, but nobody is so bad that they're literally running into a wall 24/7 in Fortnite. So now it's like there's no middle ground between the good and the bad players. It's like, if you're good, you're being punished, and if you're bad, you're being rewarded. There's actually this tweet by FaZe Sway that says, "The downfall of video games started when kids complained about people being good at the game. I remember when I was a kid and saw a Master Prestige in COD, I didn't tell him to take a shower or go outside. I sent that MF a friend request." And that's facts. Instead of actually putting in the work to be good, a lot of people just sit there and complain, and now games are kind of catering to them. But one game that I say that kind of bridged the middle ground between the really good players and the really bad players is...
Well, that's another topic in and of itself, right? Because I don't think that even within competitive games, I don't think that they should always cater to the top players, because I don't think that that is a very good business model, and it's just not a good idea in general, because you are essentially cutting yourself off from like a bigger market, because you're only catering to these hardcore players within your game and pushing out like casual people or people interested in getting into the game. And like Black Desert Online is a good example of this, because it was so PvP oriented, and now that it's trying to deviate away from that and trying to implement more casual friendly gameplay and mechanics and simplified systems within it, it is doing a lot better than it was before. But when it only catered to these hardcore PvP players within the MMO, it kind of really deterred people from wanting to play Black Desert Online. But I think that for the most part, it's in a better state than it ever has been before. But that's just one example. And yeah, I think that just catering to top players is not the answer.
Street Fighter 6. One thing that Street Fighter 6 did, they added something called modern controls and classic controls. Classic controls, basically you have to do more to push out a combo, and if you do that successfully, then that combo does more damage. But if you play modern controls, you only hit square or something and it'll do a full combo, and those combos do less damage. So it kind of bridges the gap between good and bad players. But that's a whole fighting game. How can this be fixed in like games that are like FPS or something like that? In my honest opinion, I say that FPS games should just go back to like the regular lobbies, you know? Back then, you could join a lobby, scope out the lobby, see who's like the freaking best players and stuff. If they were a little too good for your level, you could leave if you wanted to. Like, I don't think that you should be transported into the freaking universe of the top 12 Call of Duty masters after you win one game. I feel like there should always be that option to stay if you want to stay, or leave if you want to leave. There was nothing wrong with those lobbies back then. It's just like games just wanted to cater to the bad players, you know? So it's honestly just like, gaming is just honestly a huge sweat fest. And that rounds back to like the ultimate question of this video. Did streamers really ruin gaming? In my honest opinion, yes. I 1000% believe that streamers in esports ruined gaming, because there is no reason why people should be sweating at a game where you literally farm cabbages. How do you even sweat in Farming Simulator? How? Let me know in the comments. Do y'all think...
I think that my outlook on this topic is still the same after watching this. I don't think that streamers necessarily ruined gaming, but there's like bad actors in everything, right? And that's just kind of what it is here, like it is with everything. Bad actors within streaming sort of brought this about into the gaming industry, but I wouldn't say that this is all streamers. And even within Twitch, people could argue that, like, Soda Poppin', for example, feels this way about Twitch, where he misses where it was just about gaming. But it's like Asmongold says, Twitch was never meant to only be about gaming. It was just supposed to be a streaming platform, right? And that's kind of what it has evolved into today. Although it does have some questionable things, I don't really have a problem with how Twitch is currently. I think that Dan Clancy's doing a pretty good job on everything for the most part. But yeah, these things exist everywhere nowadays, and it's hard to find a solution. But let's go ahead and finish the video here.
Streamers slash pro players ruin gaming, or like, what's your guys' take on this whole situation? Let me know. But yeah, this is gonna wrap up the video. If you guys made this far, I appreciate you. If you guys enjoyed this video, then I highly recommend you guys check out my most recent video where I talk about why everyone hates prank channels. But yeah, with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. It's Cameron, and I'm out.
Yeah, so this is a good video. I'm gonna give it a like. This is by Cameron. So anyone viewing this, and if you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully my reaction to this was bearable. And I think it's good to at least be aware of this when you're gaming, and just try to loosen up, enjoy yourself a bit more, and have fun, you know? Play games with your friends, be a gamer. That's what it has always been about, and I don't think that it should change from that. So, yeah, hopefully this gets out to more people, and people try hard less. I don't know if it'll actually happen, because it's like he said, everyone wants to make money, you know? We're all hungry. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Toodaloo.